So, welcome to the Wednesday workshop. This is 3 email campaign types that every business needs, and it marks the final in our series of second quarter Wednesday workshops. And it's been a really fun journey of, content creation, content planning, really tactical things like Instagram strategy and how to optimize your Instagram reels, to some of the more emotional kind of overarching topics like humanizing your content. And as we move into summer here, we've got some really big plans. So you're the first to know that on, tomorrow and then all through next week, we're launching SEO month at Social School. So while we've worked towards improving our websites and our content strategies and driving people towards all the things that we're doing online, or just getting going maybe with a new e-commerce store or legacy business that's got a better presence now post COVID, hopefully, we're also having to think about how we show up in search. And that's a big challenge for so many of us who still don't quite have the search rankings or just the presence online that they need. So we're creating all this great content. We're, trying to implement all of the humanizing and authenticity and, rules of the game that we've been taught or that we've seen to be really resonating online. But we're still not able to show up very well. And we're either having to pay to play with lots of ads, or we're having to rethink the way that our search optimization strategy is prioritized. So all through the month of July, we're going to bring you just tons of SEO related content. And I hope it doesn't sound scary, because for me, search optimization is a final piece of the digital marketing puzzle that far too many of us are afraid of. And it is not that difficult. But there are certain organizations and practitioners in the SEO field that will leave you feeling otherwise, that it's some kind of, crazy science that only algorithm gurus can understand. And that's just not true. There's so many things we can do to improve our rankings ourselves and finally show up when people are looking for our products and services. But first things first, let's talk about email marketing. This is a really cool subject, in my opinion, because it's so powerful as a content channel. So driving people to that website that we've optimized and, built in a way that is going to convert people in the way we want them to convert. And email marketing for us at Social School has been the #1 revenue stream. In fact, it actually outperforms our paid ads in a lot of ways. If we're consistently and creatively building our email strategy in the ways that I'm going to talk about today, we drive a ton of traffic from it. And that really comes down to being a resource, not a promoter. And, giving our people what they want and expect from us in terms of helpfulness and resourcefulness and just, human people behind the brand. And then showing up when and where and how they expect it. So it's not a tall order if we just stay on top of it and we don't try to overthink our email marketing. And we don't let it become one of those content channels that's this beastly thing that we think we have to write a novel for. It's not. It's bite-sized, short and sweet, really relevant content that can be served up to a list of people that have literally opted in to hear from you. They're like, yeah, send me your promotional content. I want to hear what you have to offer. And we don't say that to other people. We're not like, hey, Ford, could you serve me up some more YouTube pre-roll ads, please? Dying for more commercials over here. Or interrupt my Instagram experience, please. Email marketing is so different because it is what we've asked for. And the beauty of that is that we, as the users, are in control. I can open it when I want. I can unsubscribe when I want. I can hopefully tailor my content towards my preferences if you're giving me that option. And I can act on it however and whenever I like. Unsubscribe is the power is in my hands. But hopefully subscribe is going to be, the route that I'll take for a very long time. And you're going to win me over, build trust, give, and then ask or get my sale or my purchase in return. So we're going to talk about that nurture journey today, and we're going to talk about the 3 types of campaigns that are really important to have as businesses. And a lot of us just haven't quite gotten to that state yet, where we're still sort of thinking about it in terms of one-off email campaigns and or sending a blanket email to our list that doesn't have a whole lot of targeting or segmentation. So here goes. Let's just share screen and dive right in. So I like to say that they're the campaign types every business needs. And by the way, if you have any questions, please pop them into chat at any time. Um, and they may not all be relevant for you, but hopefully some will start to stick out as things that you can really kind of more strategically implement. Thank you for being a part of our Social School Academy. We are growing with more tools and courses all the time. A course that I'm going to be referencing today from our Academy, of course, is our Email Marketing Lab, which is within our 360 series of 18 tactical and platform specific courses. You're part of the social club probably if you found this website or this workshop live, and we're so grateful for that. We have a lot of fun inside our community, and it's full of like-minded marketers that are collaborating and keeping each other accountable, sane, and a little bit less isolated. Social market as well. I encourage you to check out if you are in the need for some outsourced marketing services. It is one thing to learn the lay of the land, speak the language of SEO, email marketing, Instagram, but occasionally we still need some support. So that's where we pair up really proudly our favorite freelancers and students, alumni, and businesses that are looking to meet each other and make magic happen. So this is for anyone looking to take their marketing and their content strategy to their next level and really think about strategic targeted email campaigns and probably just a better usage of your list if you have one, or how to start building that list, which is such an important owned channel, which we'll get into. But first, the importance of email. Yes, it's changing, but it is certainly not dying. If anybody says to you, email marketing is a dying art or it's an aging form of digital marketing, I dare say they're wrong. And the reason is that we are in our inboxes all damn day, whether we like it or not. I don't know anyone who doesn't complain about the volume of email they're getting. Now, with that, flip side of the coin is that we're also ruthlessly unsubscribing from the promotional content we no longer want to hear from or see. However, you and I both know the ones that we will never unsubscribe from. Whether it's the bike park that your kids go to, the BMX bike park, just because the writer and owner Ryan is hilarious, or it is your favorite brand that you just can't wait to see what they send you next, or it's a sale website that is always giving you the latest information on what airline flights are cheap. Whatever it is, you have a certain value proposition for each of those and a certain connection to them that is keeping you around. So that goes back to our content workshops and courses where we talk about what are you doing for people? What is the most sticky content that you provide, or the sticky bits that they remember and know you and love you for? And is your email marketing strategy even more specific to that? They happen to love your customer service in real life, but they can't get enough of your subject lines in your e-newsletter that's written by the funny guy over in accounting. What is it? Hopefully you can become one of those email marketing providers or promoters that is an absolute must-have in someone's inbox that they can't wait to open, not just scroll by. So billions, hundreds of billions of emails are sent every day. And this is way, way higher volume than the amount of content that's put on Facebook every day or Instagram every day or Twitter or TikTok. This is like a universal marketing tool. And if we can do it well, we're finding people where they are, even more so than the old line that we always say, go where people are, show up in their Instagram feed. Well, that's where they're going to be entertained part-time in their downtime. Where are they at work? Probably in their inbox a lot. Or first thing they do in the morning when they get up, they check their inbox. So it makes sense for us to show up there at a time where we know we're going to be read. We're going to talk about off hours, and we go deep into, finding people in the moments that they have a minute to read, like Sunday morning, or again, all of those tactics that kind of work into this more strategic version of email marketing than we've probably done. So a lot of business to business marketers, but also business to consumer and direct to consumer marketers find that email is the most successful channel for them. And I can say that we count ourselves among them. It is one of your only owned channels. So when we talk about earned channels, those are, earned fans, followers, media placements and coverage, reviews and referrals. We earn those over time and with hard work or good service. Paid channels, of course, that's your paid media. Anything you've paid for placements or SEO ranking or whatever. And then our owned channels are few and far between. You could consider your Facebook fan group an owned channel, or your Instagram fan base, or your blog readers. But well, your blog readers is different. But those social platforms can turn off at any time. Facebook actually owns those fans, and they're letting you rent space for free on their platform and making you pay to get it seen now. And we can't assume that those are, safe with us forever. It's a vulnerable place to be if you are only using social channels to communicate. When it comes to our website, our email list, our blog readership, that's the content that we know is always in our control and that we can serve up any damn time we want to. So I can't be told that the algorithm is now filtering my blog posts more than it did before. No, they're right there on my website. Type in the URL and there you go. Email marketing, maybe a little bit. We do have to play with spam filters and, additional, the unsubscribes and just the deliverability of our certain email provider. But if you're using a decent email marketing provider, which most of us are, and they have good deliverability rates, and you're delivering the kind of content that people don't unsubscribe from or mark as spam, your deliverability rates are great. And hopefully people even move you out of their promotional tab into their main inbox over time or immediately because you're just that good. So the challenge, of course, is answering the call for what most of us feel and desire to be more one-to-one communication. Speak with me more like a human, not a bot. Talk to me in boutique speak, not big box. Talk to me as if I'm the only human in the room, please, and stop referring to me as everyone and talking to me like I'm the same as that person and that person. That's what we want. We want tailored, targeted content served up in our newsfeed, in our Netflix recommendations, in our inbox. That is what we would want to read. Otherwise, it's annoying and it's a waste of our time. We have such high expectations, whether we realize it or not, for the kind of content that we want, or we're out. Unsubscribe, unfollow, unfan, block, goodbye. Worse, mark as spam. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, marketing is no longer, and especially email marketing, focused just on acquisition. We're not trying to build a list of 100,000 people. And if you are, okay, good on you. But are those all qualified leads? Are they doing something with that? Is it better to have 100 super active, engaged readers and openers and click-throughers and sharers than 1,000 with a 4% open rate? Well, choice A, because those are 100 true fans that are going to spread the word and be massive advocates for you. So just the other day, I resubscribed to Tim Ferriss's list. He's the 4-Hour Workweek author and a bunch of other things. And he's got an unbelievable podcast and blog, and he's a very famous, successful marketer, author, etc. And I got an email from him. I guess it was going into spam or into promotions, and I hadn't been opening it. And the email was very strategically subject written. Are you no longer interested? Or, hey, are you not interested in this? And of course it made me click and go, oh, I really did want to subscribe to that. I better open this, because he is constantly cleaning his list. Not every quarter or once a year by going, oh God, these people haven't opened in 10 years. I should clean my list and get them off of it. He's doing that every few weeks. If you're not interested, get off my list, because you're hurting my open rates, which affects my deliverability with Yahoo Mail or Google Mail or whatever it is, and with my email service provider on the whole. And also, I don't want to speak to people that aren't interested. You're wasting my time. I'm wasting your time. I'm filling up your inbox. I'm annoying you. This is for those who care. This is for those who really want to be part of this. So advocacy and retention, you don't have to take it to that level of Tim Ferriss, but we really need to focus, just like everything else we do, on quality, not quantity. So the result, and really the process to that as well, is sophisticated campaigns. We have the greater access to data that tells us what people want. We have the ability to have them opt in for this content, but not that content, or the male products, but not the female, so to speak, or, anything related to fitness, but not nutrition. And then we have this really affordable ease of use with all of the email marketing service providers. So MailChimp, Constant Contact, Emma, Flowdesk, Infusionsoft. There's so many out there. And almost every single one of them now has sophisticated campaign tools that you can build in that lead to one email after the next. We're going to show those to you. It's not just a one-off email anymore. You've got a database built into that, the customer relationship management side of your email provider, CRM, we call it. So you've got the person's name and their opens and their unsubscribes or when they subscribed, and possibly even some of their segmented, targeted kind of preferences or tags or lists that you've put them on or they've put themselves on. So lots of data. And then the way we use it is up to us. Really important. Speaking of important, 3 things. So we've got reach. There are 3 times more email accounts than there are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter combined. And 90% of this email is delivered into the intended recipient's inbox, generally. Whereas, of course, we know how low our organic social content reach is, oftentimes 2 to 5% on your business page or less. So when we think about writing the kind of emails that get opened, it's a no-brainer. And people will dedicate their time to it. They're reading that. They're not just scrolling by your post and calling it an impression or a reach. We're actually being specifically opened and hopefully acted on. So again, our subscribers have explicitly opted in, and really email marketing is a type of marketing. It's promotion. It is like sales for your business, telling the people what you're up to in a really roundabout way, hopefully not a super salesy way. And that doesn't happen on any other platform. So we need to show up and speak to them. Even if you're not ready to start sending emails yet, start building your list. It is an absolute asset to have a list of subscribers. Number 2, action and conversion. So the average click-through rate of an email campaign is 3%, and oftentimes way higher. I'm constantly asked, what's a good open rate? What's a good click-through rate? And of course, click-throughs are of the people that have opened, how many click, and you get a percentage there. But it's really, really specific to your industry and to how big your list is. If you have 40 people on your list versus 40,000, probably your open rate is going to be like above 50%, hopefully, because it's like your mom and her friends are on there and they better be opening. So this really has to be something that you measure yourself in the same way that you cannot rely on the stats that say email opens are highest on Tuesday mornings between 7 and 9 a.m. Like, if I could tell you how many freaking emails I get on Tuesday mornings, and you're probably the same, we would all probably agree that that's not the best time to send email promotions. Like, no, thank you. I just can't even open any of them. It's overwhelming. So really, you have to experiment. You have to know your people, and then, of course, iterate and constantly test out different opportunities and options. And finally, oh wait, there's 2 more. So ROI is obviously another reason email is so important. So we know how expensive it is to acquire a new lead, whether you're doing that through the time and energy you put into your Instagram posts that make people fall in love with you and land on your website and subscribe or buy, or fill out a contact form or something. Or you're running paid campaigns, Google ad campaigns that cost a fortune. And there's your lead, but wow, that cost me $36 for that click-through. Whereas when we are relying on email, we're effectively just nurturing people that are our existing customers. We want to try and do that first. We all know what it's like, the classic adage of the phone company that is giving their existing customers 0 loyalty points and they're giving new customers these insane deals. And it's frustrating and it doesn't make any sense. So serve your existing subscribers and customers first, and then go find new ones. And your ROI will be extremely high if you can do your email marketing or use it towards that end. That was it. This is the goal. Those are my 3 things: reach, action and conversion, and ROI are things that make Twitter or email so important. So the goal is constant delight for our audience. We say this across a lot of platforms, but in general, delight being like, show up for me, meet my expectations, send me something interesting or helpful or resourceful, entertaining, insightful, whatever it is. And then keep me interested in your business, but also keep yourselves top of mind with me. So you're moving me towards my goal, whether it's just to, be entertained by your BMX park emails and then, oh, go there because you're top of mind. We should head over there this weekend. Or I found the car I needed. Thanks for keeping me up to speed on all the sales and new vehicles and, people behind the scenes that I can speak with. So I've moved towards my goal and you've moved towards yours. And that is the beautiful symbiotic sales funnel, an email funnel that we're trying to achieve. So let's call it the customer journey campaign mapping. We're really mapping out our email campaigns in a way that achieves exactly that, moving people down the journey or towards the goal. So the three email campaign types that I want to kind of impart upon you and leave you with are these. The first one is lead generation. And you could call this sort of top of funnel, cold awareness, interest generating kind of campaigns. And this is where we are sending someone perhaps they see a link to an ebook or some kind of other lead magnet, a velvet rope offer where if you give me your email address, you get 10% off your first order. But we're generating leads and new email addresses essentially so that we can then communicate with people. These are the forms on your website or in your footer or a pop-up before you leave that person's website that they are getting you to help them capture you before you go. The second one, which is where most of us do our email marketing, is nurture campaigns. And these are just straight up nurturing people along. And they shouldn't be as boring as I just made that sound. They should be really fun, interesting, enticing. They get shared. You build your list even further. And the goal is not just to keep them subscribed, it's to nurture them along and get them to take action. So there's some thought behind this. Maybe you have one a week. Let's say you were that ambitious in your email marketing goals. Good for you. And the first week of every month is a roundup of articles or research stats, something in your field that you've gathered as little kind of like a editorial style reads that you can send people to your website, not to their websites of these articles or stats, but to your blog posts or your website where you've compiled simple little blogs that further explain what you're talking about or give people information they need. Maybe week number 2 of the month is profiles, customers, suppliers, alumni, staff, just like human faces, or perhaps testimonials could be really fun. Maybe week number 3 is like Q&A, or it's some video content or mythbusters or how-tos, just something that's kind of resourceful, helpful in a fun sort of way. And then perhaps week number 4, you do something that's like bullet points or tips and tricks, or you can just have these little series and categories, we like to call them in our social content, of nurture campaigns that make it interesting. And I may have just made that sound complicated, but it's not. What we're talking about, and we're going to look at this in a minute with design, is just like a simple 1-section email that's like a how-to, or a did you know, or a little big hero image with a couple bullet points or a thumbnail image. We are not saving up all of the things in our head and puking out this epic e-newsletter that's like multi-columns and so much text and shouting around the office, does anyone have anything else to add? We're sending out the quarterly e-newsletter that reads like a boring novel. No, easy, quick, attractive, written in sound bites. Your e-newsletter should have no more than 500 words, unless you're writing some kind of letter, which is a different type that's more personal. But if it's a graphic or a designed email and it's regular, it should be short and sweet. Image, caption, call to action a couple times over. And any email marketing tool now can help you build that, as can Canva or the graphic design tools at our disposal. Finally, fulfillment. So this is the kind of emails that so many of us drop the ball on when we've sold something, when we've welcomed someone in, when they've ordered something. And all we do is either send them a here's your product email, or we send them one that's like, could you fill out this survey? Could you give me a 5-star review? But it's not like, hey, how's that awesome thing coming around? Hey, we made you a video of how to use it. Or we know you ordered our tax return kit. We're going to meet you on Facebook Live this Sunday and we're going to do it together. So we're going to not only give you the best product in the industry, but we're going to get you to the finish line with it so that you absolutely love us, because your success is our success. And not just in a cliche kind of like soundbite way, because if you did well by this and we got you to the finish line with that product or service as well, and you killed it and it worked for you, then you're going to tell people about it. They're going to come around and you're going to come back for more too. You'll be our most loyal customer that is like in the loop now. We're no longer dumping in cold leads. We are returning people to the action at the bottom of the funnel over and over. So fulfillment emails are really important. They are not just sales receipts. They are like awesome ways to stay connected with your hot leads and have them become diehard tribal style fans of yours. I'm just going to go back up to number one for a minute because I don't feel like I fully said what lead generation can do beyond the capture. This is a great opportunity to do a little intro series for your new lead. So let's say I did click on that Facebook post to download your new ebook or your cocktail recipes for Christmas PDF or whatever it is. And you captured me. Or maybe I just wanted to sign up for your e-newsletter list because I'm on your website and I think you sound like a cool company. Great. But then the campaign that should follow before you spit me into your nurture series is possibly some kind of intro series. 3 parts, a few days apart or 7 days apart. That's like, so great, so glad you're here. Hi, Kelly. Use my name because I gave it to you. So use a little merge tag to personalize it. And then, here's what we're about. Or did you know that we did this one cool thing once? Or actually try to make it about them. But again, it's like getting to know you better and getting them excited about what's ahead, maybe further outlining your offering. Maybe the third email in that series would be a coupon or something. You don't want to go in for the kill just yet, but maybe you do. It's just some kind of like welcome series, right? Think about it if somebody literally walked up to you and shook your hand and said, I love your website. I want you to tell me more about what you do, or I love this company. Keep me posted. And you're like, okay. And then you just puked them out or handed them an e-newsletter, a coupon every week or some kind of pamphlet, kind of lame. So instead, what would you do as you're welcoming them in? You'd show them around. You'd ask them if they need any help. You might revisit them again in 10 minutes and say like, by the way, I forgot to tell you we're having this sale. So act in email form as you would in real life. Don't ignore, nurture well, segment as much as you can, read their cues, and then give them what they're hoping for. No big deal. All right, as we're wrapping up here, I just want to show you what these can look like. So lead generation, let's say it is that lead magnet opt-in form, right? We've all seen these, we've all signed up for these and fallen victim or been really happy that we did. We get something for it. Usually we're redirected to a thank you page. If you're using a tool like Flowdesk or Constant Contact or MailChimp, they're going to ask you where you want to redirect them to after they fill out that form. So you might have to build a thank you page on your website or a landing page of some kind. If you're in Kajabi, a really sophisticated type of email provider, among other things, it's all in there. That's why I love Kajabi, because I can build my forms and then have my CRM in there for my contact database, tag them accordingly to what form they just filled out. And then I can also send them to a landing page that I just built in Kajabi, because it's a website, it's email marketing, it's course hosting, memberships, CRM, and more all in one. So anyway, from there, they're going to get an email because I've created this campaign or sequence or pipeline, as Kajabi calls it, where I'm dropping in different elements. I'm going to drop in an e-newsletter there that says, hey Kelly, thanks for signing up. Here's your ebook. There you go. Bang. And then possibly another email. How did it go? We noticed you didn't open it, or thanks for opening. What'd you think? Because we can now segment them and tag them according to the actions they take, which I'll get to in a second. So from there, it's up to us. We can bump them into our nurture campaign, or we can keep leading them along with some kind of welcome sequence to whatever it is that maybe they bought a ticket to something and we have to deliver the final product at the end. Nurture, as I mentioned, just like it sounds. Maybe someone conducts a search, they find your sales page, or they find your e-commerce checkout page, or whatever it is. They opt in. I don't want to say opt in, and I don't want to say they fell for it. They bought, they took action. They completed the form, or they bought the thing. And then of course they're now involved in that series that goes on infinitely or for a while. Maybe it leads them to a sales page down the road when you're ready to hit them with an offer or your latest product. Up to you. So nurture campaigns can take many forms, and they can be really creative, as I mentioned earlier, with different types of email categories. And then, of course, just an example of fulfillment. It could have been that email purchase or checkout that I mentioned, but it could also be a webinar registration, really popular for a lot of online marketers. I sign up for that webinar registration, which is also kind of lead generation, but let's call it the fulfillment campaign that follows my purchase or opt-in. and I'm going to see the thank you page. And then maybe there's a couple teaser videos, or there's a couple of follow-up prep courses, questions, emails that get me excited about it, reminder emails. Um, and these could also be after you buy the product, in terms of like yeah, like I said, how's it going? Let's meet you and get you to the finish line with a webinar. Here's your chance to give us a review and enter to win a gift card, whatever it looks like for you. Many types of fulfillment as well. Just important to see them slightly different than you would a nurture campaign or a lead campaign. This is where I encourage you to just pencil it out. Thinking about 3 different types of email campaigns. What would a lead gen campaign look like? What would a nurture campaign look like? And what would fulfillment look like? And what is the trigger? Is the trigger that they downloaded the ebook, that they purchased the t-shirt, or that they just signed up for your e-newsletter at that trade show you were at? Doesn't matter. And one can sometimes lead to another. The lead generation could eventually, after they go through that welcome campaign, bump them into the nurture campaign. So your trigger there is completion of lead generation campaign, or whatever it is. The result, what do you want this to achieve? Is it 12 months of nurturing to get them to book an appointment with you? Or is it, click-through rates that are above 10% every time? It really kind of depends here. And you can have these extremely different metrics, or kind of similar, if you want them all to take some sort of action, or if it's just about your own early stage open rates and click-throughs. This is where I'm going to also mention again that our email marketing lab goes so much deeper into a lot of this stuff. So if you feel like this is just scratching the surface, awesome. I love this course. It was my favorite course of our relaunch because of how deep we were able to go in things like strategic pillars. So when we're thinking about the design and the imagery and the value, just giving people ideas on what this can look like. Is it some kind of editorial with lots of different article snippets, or is it a big hero image like we're seeing here, where you're just, look at the one on the left from the Giving Keys. They have their template set up where it always looks the same. In fact, it looks like a little mini website, which is super cool, with like links in the top, their logo, and then just one big image that they're designing in Canva with maybe a cutout or a transparent product or a face, and then literally like 10 words of copy, headline, subheadline, call to action, maybe a little caption, footer. Like, so clean, so beautiful. And this happens to be about a promotion they're running. So how much can you get away with of showing it, don't say it, especially if you're a product forward brand? I mentioned the letter. So there's plenty of others in between these two extremes, but Ann Handley is a marketer who really spells it out every week. And she has this newsletter from the desk of Ann Handley once a week. I also love Frank and Oak, clothing provider or a company out of Montreal, and they do the Sunday paper. And it's really cool because it feels like a Sunday paper, like just something really fun to sit down with. It's juicy. It's got culture articles and really beautiful fashion stuff, but also environment and just ethical stuff, and just stuff that they know their people to be interested in, that they compile on a Sunday in a little beautiful read. So get creative, subscribe to the companies that you love and see what they're doing, and just start to take note. The second pillar of, sort of some deeper strategy is this turbocharging of our targeting. So we go deep into how we are trying to send emails to the right people at the right time for the right reasons. And now we're so sophisticated that we're doing all 4 at once. The right emails, the right people, the right time, for the right reason. It used to just being about like, get on my list and I'll send you an email. But now we've gotten to the point where we know that we have to incorporate all 4 of those boxes. And we can, because we have the tools to do it and the intel from our users as to what they want. Further, we're segmenting on geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral factors. And my favorite here is the behavioral side, because these are those sophisticated triggered campaigns. Based on your past purchases, I'm going to send you this. Based on your intent, I'll send you that. Based on your stage with me, or all the things we've just talked about. Did you just meet us? Did you download that ebook? Did you open it, or did you forget to? I'm going to send you additional things based on your behaviors, not just the fact that you speak English or the fact that you subscribed 2 years ago. We're far further beyond that. And if you're just doing the latter, your like recipe for unsubscribe or inaction. And that's when people don't see great results or get frustrated by their email marketing strategy, because their readers either never open, don't care, or not action takers. We want active, engaged new users and subscribers. Number 3 is that personalization piece. So this is a no-brainer. If you need to go through your list, I don't care how big it is, and make sure that you have a first name attached to every person. We've done this at our organization where we'll Google the email address of the customer to make sure we have their first name in there. Not because they didn't give it to us, maybe it just didn't capture or whatever. I'm just trying to say we're not trying to illegally find their name. We're just trying to capture first name, email address. That's actually all we need. Unless they make a purchase, then our tax reasons needs to capture a few more things. But don't make it hard for people to subscribe. Don't ask them for their postal code or their middle name. You and I both know how that feels. You're like, I just want this e-newsletter. Why do you need my middle name? Why do you need to know my visa number? So just get them on your list with those two things and then use it. Hey, Kelly, how are you doing? When I was in the newsroom as a journalist, I was getting hundreds of pitches per day from everybody. I became the catch-all of like local fluffy news as a columnist at the newspaper I wrote for. And if they didn't say, hey, Kelly, or hi, Kelly, I was just like a perfect recipe or a perfect reason to ignore, delete, archive. Like, give me something that makes me feel like you give a crap about me and that I should do you this favor by like researching your story and your business, writing about it for free, giving you tons of exposure. Sure, you're helping me, but I'm also going to massively help you out. So do a bit of homework and at least use my name. And also, even better, find out what I usually write about. The perfect recipe to get me to dive deep into your story and cover the crap out of it in a feature article. Hey, Kelly, love your column, like pat my back a little. Saw that you did that piece on X. I know that I have something of interest because of Y, and here's why I think your readers would care. And also, here's an exclusive photo. You don't have to come out and shoot it. Here's this, here's that. I'm going to make this dead easy for you because I know you're exhausted or lazy or overwhelmed or whatever, as we all are, not just journalists. And it was personalized, it was exclusive, it was easy, it was fun, and it was compelling. So same goes when you write an e-newsletter. If this is personalized and it matters to people, they're going to open it, read it, and act on it. So use that how you can. There's a lot of examples of this that we go into in the email marketing course. But I'm going to end, I'll mention that one of the last ones, which is self-selection. And that is, again, where when I can decide what pieces of content I want from you or who I am to you, that it's going to lead to the curated content for me and then much higher retainment and conversion rates on your end. I'm going to engage with that content. I feel like you get me. If I subscribe to the Hudson's Bay e-newsletter and I start first receiving all sorts of stuff about the stuff I'm into, housewares, women's clothing, kids stuff, and then I start receiving stuff about like, male clothing or hair cream, or I'm just like, this isn't for me. Why is this happening? So we're very sensitive to it. Just be aware and avoid, the junky, irrelevant emails where you can. Finally, the triggered emails and those customized automated journeys that I've been touching on. So like an abandoned cart email, we talk about how to do that and how it's not very difficult and it's not reserved for just the Frank and Oaks or the big companies with huge budgets. This is like built into your e-newsletter software and your e-commerce software too, which is super cool. As well as other types of triggers that are based on maybe someone's spending habits. If they've become a VIP, they're going to get this. If they haven't ever purchased anything, they're going to get that. Really interesting. They get segmented and tagged. Also the if this then that's. So again, you get the anniversary birthday email from Moo Cards because they asked you for that. You weren't afraid to give it to them. Or it could be the anniversary of when you signed up. That's more common. It's been a year since you signed up with our e-newsletter or since you bought this product. We're going to send you an email. We're going to wait a couple days. And then if you clicked it, you're going to get this. If you didn't click it, we're going to get that, send you that. And up to you how far you want to take that. But again, I encourage you to take note of what you are being sent. What type of nurture campaigns are you being funneled along through? Do you like them? Do you not? Are they too pushy? Are they too frequent? But do they work? That's the other question you have to ask yourself. I think a lot of us are afraid to be too salesy, myself included. But we also see that we are constantly the ones buying from those too salesy emails that are really kind of overly nurturing, we'll say. But it's up to you. You've got to know your people and you've got to pick your battles. So if you're mapping this out, you know where you're going to be aggressive with your frequency and where you're going to step back a little bit and perhaps be a little bit more, easygoing about bringing them along for the ride. And then finally, just some lead gen and list building tools. So really being smart about whether you're using pop-ups, which can be brilliant if used well, and then the tools or the possible additional software that you may need in order to create that kind of thing. Are you giving them a reason? So that lead magnet or velvet rope or trigger to get them to take action and sign up? Or is your offer good enough that you can just, is your company fun enough, cool enough, whatever, that they just want to be a part of the list, they want to be on it? What kind of language are you using? We're seeing really fun stuff sometimes too about the language people are using when they promise what they're going to give you in the e-newsletter. Or when you go to unsubscribe, how are they stopping you from doing so? Landing pages, of course, are built to lead generate. So that's something to consider. If it's not a pop-up, it could absolutely be a standalone landing page. That's really, really powerful stuff too. So a final word in this final Wednesday workshop of our Q2 series. The point of email is not to promote our business or product or service. It is to alter the contact or the human to a more desirable state. They feel happier for having read that. They feel more educated about what you do. They feel more excited or intrigued about possibly taking action on that thing. You've solved a problem, or you've just given them some kind of value and reason for reading. It's not a waste of their time. A couple tips and ways to do this: be assertive, not passive. Hey, can't wait to tell you about this. Take note of the subject lines that catch your eye in your inbox. And subject line writing is an art in itself. We ran a couple of weeks ago, we did our headline writing workshop. So I invite you to check that out inside a social club if you want to. But that can make a huge difference on your open rates, just unbelievably different. So using action words, clear calls to action throughout and possibly in your subject. Creating curiosity and delight. Give me reason to open it and then to click through, which is the goal. Get them to your website for more without annoying me that I have to go there maybe, but don't give it all to me in the e-newsletter so that there's no point. You want to drive them to your website ideally. Or if you're not doing that, give them value there and then on the spot. So less selling, more serving, making it about them as always, not you, their goals, not necessarily yours. And with that, I hope to see you online and to see your fabulous e-newsletters. Please let us know if you have taken a new turn or path or strategy in your email marketing. We would love to hear about it. And then answer any questions, of course, too, if you've got them. And just see this as a marketing tactic that really generates some high return for you. Wishing you so much luck as always. And I will hopefully see you again very soon. We'll see you in July.